Majo John Madden, Juanito, in Acamal, Mexico, in my little tiny house. And I'm standing to make this video because I'm in a lot of pain. I've been dealing with renal shutdown for 4 weeks now and pretty continually in pain. But I also have an opening here where I want to comment on something I've been observing for several years. One of the world's most liberated men, cheerleader for women's rights, going back 30 years at least. I've been there for women. I love women. And there's a story this morning on National Public Radio about how women are choosing to stay single. This is research showing this because they're not really happy with the pool of men that are available to them. What I've been noticing from 5 years, and especially the last 2 years in Mexico, is that the big difference is that in the U.S., women don't like men. They're beating the shit out of men. They've got the upper hand. Women, entitled, white, educated, middle-class women, have decided that it's time to turn the tables and say to men, it's your turn to change. We don't like you much anymore at all. A big glaring example of that was Will Smith. When Will Smith hit that comedian for insulting his wife, Will Smith was there at the Oscars about to win the Oscar for a role in which he was protecting his daughters, the Williams tennis sisters, shepherding them, protecting them. He was there. He was still in role. He saw his role as to protect his woman when his wife was being insulted in front of the national audience. He chose to do something about it. I was in Appalachia at that point, white, pretty much white, and pretty much traditional, and Trump supporters, mostly because they got their news almost entirely from Fox News. And I went around and asked Appalachian women, what do you think of Will Smith choosing on national TV to go up and slap that guy for insulting his wife? To a woman. These women who are not Black Lives Matter people by any means, they said, bingo, it's what my man, boy, if my man did not respond that way, I'd be seriously disappointed with him. That's the man's job. You insult his wife, you let them know what you think of that. You don't go on social media and whine about it. You do something then. Here in Mexico, it's almost impossible. Well, mostly they don't know that story. But if I tell them that story, they say, yeah, right. That's what 99% of men would do because they're good men. Yeah, so the difference in Mexico is not that the pool of men is better, although they're awesome. The men in Mexico are awesome these days. It's because women love men in Mexico. And it's not because they're sleepy little senoritas who will take all kinds of shit from a man. No. There's every manner of business and legal and every other kind of empowerment of women in Mexico. It seems like at least 50% of the doctors are women. The president, people speculate about whether Kamala Harris lost because she's a woman. There's still a glass ceiling. Claudia Sheinbaum won by 80%, and she's adored in Mexico, and she is tough. I was posting to TikTok back then, and I encountered a TikTok video where this guy says, I made the mistake of having a fight with a Latina. Somebody shoot me and put me out of my misery. They won't yell. They don't get nasty. They don't call you names. They don't get all self-righteous. But they won't give up. They grind you down. And I've been directly on the receiving end of this. They will get their way. And the men are wonderful. They love their women. They love their children. And they love being men. They feel no hesitation about being masculine. I have a trope I've created in Mexico that I call the super cool Mexican cowboy stud, because the men down here not only are physically beautiful, but they're so cool because they like themselves. They like hanging with other men. They're just great. So, yeah, the issue in the U.S. is not that the men are worse. It's that the women are more critical and the men are running scared. They're so terrified of being called toxically masculine or sexist. You cannot give a woman a physical compliment. And that's what makes the world go around, folks. Boy, I was in New Orleans for this winter of 23. You give a woman, a black woman, it's 80% black in New Orleans. You give a black woman a physical compliment, she says, "Thank you, baby. Thank you for noticing." In the U.S., they say, "Who the fuck are you?" commenting on my looks. What do you think you are, a fucking man? Get out of here, you asshole. Yeah, that's the difference. Okay, that's that right.